She told me I was paranoid, said I needed therapy, said I was projecting my own insecurities. Then I found her lipstick, deep red, the one I bought her last Valentine's in, another man's jacket, a jacket hanging in our hallway. It was the moment everything I feared stopped being paranoia and became reality. My name's Daniel Mercer. I'm 34, live in Seattle, and until recently, I thought I was building a future with the woman I loved more than anything. I work as a UX designer at a mid-sized tech firm. Nothing flashy, but it pays well, and I've always had this quiet ambition to design things that just make people's lives feel smoother, simple, like love was supposed to feel. I met Marissa during a coffee shop redesign project 3 years ago. She was working the counter at a little local spot called Driftwood Cafe. I came in one morning trying to survey the flow of customers and study pain points. She handed me my latte and said, "You look like you're trying too hard to look like you're not trying too hard." I laughed, harder than I'd laughed in weeks. That's how it started. Marissa had this light in her. The kind that made you feel like she saw you, you know? She was 29, curly brown hair, always up in a bun, loved acoustic playlists, indie rom-coms, and had this borderline obsessive love for spicy miso ramen. Our first date was karaoke at a dive bar where she made me sing "Ain't No Sunshine" in front of strangers. I was awful. She kissed me anyway. We moved in together after 8 months, adopted a rescue pit bull named Waffles, built Saturday. Routines around farmers markets, Target runs, and binging Netflix true crime documentaries. Our favorite was always The Staircase. She claimed she could have been a detective in another life. I believed her. But sometime around the second year, little things started to shift. Her laugh didn't come as easily. Her texts started feeling colder, punctuated, dry. She used to send me memes during the day. Now, just okay or K. She'd come home from her new bartending job at a trendy rooftop place downtown, smelling like expensive cologne she didn't wear. Always claimed it was customers hugging her. I believed that too at first. The crack really began with the Spotify account. One night I noticed her recently played was full of songs I'd never heard of. Stuff I knew she didn't like. Trap music mostly. Heavy beats. Lyrics about late nights and infidelity. I joked about it. She shrugged and said, "Just trying new stuff." But it didn't sound like her. I didn't feel like her. Still, I ignored. It pushed it down because when you love someone, like really love them, you don't want to believe they could become someone who hurts you. Then came the phone. She used to leave it face up, unlocked, open. Now it was always face down, silent, always locked even in the shower. She said she was just being more mindful of digital privacy. Again, I nodded. Again, I believed. Or maybe I needed to believe, because I wasn't ready for the truth. But that all changed one cold Tuesday night in February. She was in the shower. Her coat and scarf were tossed on the entry bench, and next to them, hanging loosely on the coat rack, was a navy bomber jacket. I didn't recognize it. It wasn't mine. I opened the pocket absently. Stupidly, Anne found it. A lipstick. Deep red. The same shade I bought her for our anniversary. Dinner last year, the cap was cracked. It looked used, fresh, and that jacket. It smelled like her perfume. Like her skin. Only thing was, it wasn't her jacket. And she didn't even try to hide the panic when she saw me holding it. She froze. For a split second, it looked like she stopped breathing. Her hair was still damp from the shower, a towel wrapped around her. And when she saw the lipstick in my hand, the color drained from her face faster than I've ever seen. I asked calmly, "Whose jacket?" She blinked once, twice. Then she scoffed. "That's your jacket, babe. You've just forgotten." Lie so flimsy it didn't even deserve a response. I didn't own a bomber jacket. Never have. But I said nothing. Just looked at her, waiting. That's when she snapped into defense mode. Sharp practiced. "God, Daniel, you're doing this again? You're always so insecure lately. Maybe you should talk to someone. This paranoia is getting out of control." Paranoia, that word hit me harder than I expected. Because for the last few months, she'd weaponized it against me like a shield every time I raised an eyebrow. Every time I asked a question, Every time I noticed something that didn't make sense, you need therapy. You're imagining things. Why are you so obsessed with catching me doing something wrong? And every time she said those things, I felt smaller, more unsure of myself, like I was losing it. But that night, standing there with the lipstick in one hand and my heartbeat pulsing in my ears, I knew I wasn't crazy. Still, I let it go, or pretended to. I nodded, placed the lipstick on the entry table, and said, "Maybe you're right." That's when things really started unraveling. The next week, she started locking the bedroom door while she changed, something she'd never done before. She said it was about boundaries and personal space. 2 nights later, I noticed she started charging her phone in the bathroom at night. I said it helped her sleep better. She stopped calling me from work breaks, stopped asking me how my day was. The intimacy between us started to die, but not in a loud, dramatic way. It was quieter than that, slower, like watching paint peel off the walls, one flake at a time. One afternoon, I came home early from work surprise lunch from her favorite Thai, place in hand. The apartment was empty, but her phone was on the counter. I'm not proud of what I did next, but I don't regret it either. I opened it. She'd never changed her password. Probably didn't expect me to actually look. The first thing I saw, a thread with someone named T. No last name, just an initial. The messages were hidden with invisible ink, like they were playing spy games. I tapped to reveal them. T. Last night was insane. I still smell you on me. Marisa, stop. I'm blushing. Make it hard to go home. Home, that was our place. Another message. T. Did you leave your lipstick in my pocket? Marisa. Crap, I think I did. Hope your roommate didn't see. My blood ran cold. Roommate, so he wasn't even living alone. She wasn't just disrespecting me, she was gambling with her whole image or her whole life for what? A few moments of thrill, I backed out of the thread. Opened her DMs. There were others. Nothing too explicit, but enough to show a pattern. Flirting, late-night chats, plans, secrets. The worst part, there were memes. Inside jokes, nicknames, hours. Recycled for someone else. I felt sick, physically sick. My chest ached in a way I didn't know was possible. That night, I didn't say anything. Instead, I started watching. I paid attention to her habits. Who she texted when she thought I wasn't looking. When she left the room for a work call. When she wore that dress she only used to wear for our anniversaries to go out with the girls. I tracked it all, quietly, methodically, because if she was going to break my heart, I wasn't going to let her gaslight me into thinking I broke it myself. I didn't explode, didn't scream, didn't throw her phone across the room or demand answers that wouldn't be honest anyway. Instead, I started a folder. I called it Truth. Every time I caught something, I took a screenshot. Messages, snaps, voicemails, even her calendar events that didn't match the stories she told me. One night, she said she was going to her friend Leah's to have wine and catch up. I nodded like usual and told her to have fun. She left wearing jeans and a hoodie, barely brushed her hair, nothing suspicious. But something told me to check. Anyway, I'd installed a free app on her old iPad that synced her iMessages. She forgot I still had it. At 10:12 p.m. that night, I got a notification. Marisa, outside your place. Don't make me knock twice, T. Doors already unlocked. Bedroom lights are on. I took a screenshot, then another, when I saw a photo. She sent him 20 minutes later. Lingerie. Black lace. The same set I bought her last Christmas. She'd told me it didn't fit right. I sat on the couch, alone in the dark. Phone glowing in my hand. Waffles, our pit bull, laid his head on my lap, like he could feel the shift in me. Like he could feel that our home was no longer a home. That night, I made a decision. I wasn't going to stay and fight. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to leave with my dignity intact, the truth strapped to my back like armor. The next week, I booked a cabin outside of Leavenworth. Told her I was going to a tech retreat. She barely looked up from her phone. Go, have fun. No kiss goodbye. While she was gone the next day, I packed everything. My clothes, my monitors, my books, waffles, toys, and bed, and then I printed the screenshots. All of them. I slipped them into an envelope. On the front, I wrote one word in, her handwriting. Oops. I left it on the coffee table next to the deep red lipstick she'd pretended wasn't hers. But the finale, that came later. 2 nights later, I got a call from her best friend, Jamie. She was sobbing, said she'd just gotten home from a group. Dinner and Marissa had brought him tea, the guy from the messages. Jamie said she sat there, stunned, watching Marissa act like nothing was wrong. Until another friend mentioned she saw me walking waffles by Green Lake that morning. That's when Marissa realized I was gone. The text came within minutes. Marissa, where are you? Marissa, what the hell is going on? Marissa did. You go through my stuff. That's a violation, Daniel. Marissa, I didn't mean for it to happen this way. Please come home. I didn't reply. The next day I emailed her dad, kind man who always treated me like family, attached the evidence. I kept the message short. Sir, I didn't want to cause a scene, but I thought you should know the truth. Thank you for always being kind to me. He never responded. But 2 days later, Marissa's Facebook relationship status disappeared. So did the photos of us. She unfollowed me on everything, blocked me on Instagram, then tried to email me with a long-winded, teary essay about how things just got confusing, and she wasn't sure what she wanted. I didn't reply. She wanted chaos. I gave her silence. She wanted drama. I gave her distance. And the guy she risked it all for? Found out she'd been seeing someone else behind his back too. How do I know? Because he messaged me. His name was Theo. Turns out that Navy bomber jacket wasn't even his. Moving out wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. It was the staying. Gone that hurt. The first week in the cabin, I didn't sleep much. I kept waking up, expecting to hear her brushing her teeth, or see her hoodie hanging over the chair, or feel her roll over and put a leg across mine like she used to. But there was only silence, just the fireplace crackling and waffle snoring. At the foot of the bed, I spent those days walking trails, drinking too much coffee, and trying to understand how love could rot from the inside while you're still living in it. Therapy helped. I started with an online session, just to try it. Told myself I'd do one and be done, but I kept going. Every Tuesday night, the first few sessions were messy me, trying to justify why I didn't leave sooner, trying to unpack how much of myself I'd lost just trying to be enough for someone. I was always looking for more. My therapist said something that stuck with me. When someone gaslights you, they're not trying to make you crazy, they're trying to make you dependent on their version of reality. That hit me harder than I expected, because that's exactly what Marissa had done. She'd fed me this version of our relationship where I was needy, suspicious, broken, when the truth was I was just intuitive and loyal, and she couldn't handle either. 2 weeks after I moved out, she emailed again. This time it was short. No grand declarations, just, I miss you. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I wish I could undo everything. I stared at that sentence for a long time. My thumb hovered over reply, but I didn't. Some things aren't undone. They're just lived through. Then came the fallout. Apparently. After her friends found out what happened, there was a slow, quiet exodus. Jamie told me later that some of their circle couldn't look at her the same. It's not because she cheated, but because of how she did it. The lying, the manipulation. The bringing him around like nothing mattered. She left her job at the rooftop bar. Rumors said she got into it with one of the managers, something about stealing tips, but who knows? I didn't. Chased the drama. I let it come to me, then one night it did. I was grabbing groceries late at night, hoodie up, headphones in, when I saw him, Theo, standing in line ahead of me, looking rough. He turned around, did a double take. Daniel. I nodded. Hey. Stared at me for a second, then said, She did it to me too. That was it. No bitterness in his voice. You're just exhaustion. Shared war scars. He told me she'd tried spinning a story that I was abusive, controlling, that I tracked her phone and isolated her from her friends. He didn't believe it, not after he found her texting to other guys while in bed next to him. We talked for a few minutes, exchanged a sad smile. That strange kind of camaraderie only people who've been burned by the same flame understand. As I walked to my car, I felt something loosen in my chest. Not forgiveness, but closure. 1 month later, I moved into a new apartment. Smaller, quieter. I bought a new couch. Started cooking again. Waffles adjusted fast like dogs do. Loyal creatures who don't ask questions, only follow your heart wherever it limps. I ran into Jamie again at a friend's birthday party. She pulled me aside, hugged me, and said, "You look lighter." I didn't know how to respond, but she was right because I was lighter. I had less to carry, and for the first time in a long time, I wasn't afraid of what I might find in someone else's pocket. It's been 7 months now. I still have moments where it all sneaks up on me, like when I see her brand of lipstick on a shelf, or a rerun of one of the shows we used to watch. Starts playing in the background while I'm doing something else. The triggers don't hurt like they used to, though. They don't hit like punches anymore. More like passing echoes. Back then, I would have said Marissa broke me. Now I see it differently. She didn't break me. She revealed me. Revealed how far I'd go to protect someone who wouldn't do the same for me. Revealed how badly I needed to learn what love isn't before I ever had a shot at finding what it is. I used to think being loyal meant sticking it out no matter what. Now I know being loyal doesn't mean tolerating betrayal just because you don't want to start over. Starting over isn't the worst thing. Staying stuck in a lie is. These days I journal. I talk to my therapist once a month. Still walk waffles around Green Lake. But I don't keep my eyes on the path in case I bump into her. Now I keep my head up. I don't date yet. Not seriously. Anyway, I've gone on a few coffee runs, shared some laughter, but I don't lead with my scars. I let people meet the version of me that survived, not the man who found a lipstick in a stranger's coat pocket, but the man who saw it for what it was and finally walked away. Sometimes I think back to that envelope, the one I left for her. Oops. At the time, it was my small act of defiance. Now I see it as something else entirely. It was the sound of a life being reclaimed. She got the apartment. She kept the couch we picked together. Maybe she still uses that same red lipstick, but I got something better. I got clarity. I got peace. And in the end, maybe that's the only kind of revenge that really matters. Turns out the best revenge is never needing her apology. If you enjoyed my story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more real-life stories like this.